Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 Raptor, and we're replacing the factory OEM bezel for the bottom intercooler with a metal one and actually inserting some lights. They offer powerful white light, amber DRL, and also protects a lot of debris from actually going inside the lower bumper and potentially damaging your intercooler. So the first thing we got to do is remove the factory trim piece. What we're going to do, we're going to remove these two cover panels and pop these out. You get a pry tool in here to pop these covers off. There we go. And they have these little teeth. We're going to take these out after. We're going to reapply them before we reinstall them. I'll do the same thing on the driver's side. There we go. When we loosen the two sides, we can actually pull on the center trim piece and unclip it. And once it's unclipped, we can put it out the way. So we are not going to be reusing this plastic trim piece. We're going to put it away. There's two clips that are on this bracket, but two that are got left on the vehicle. So I'm going to take these out just with needle nose pliers. You squeeze the back of them and you fit them through the front hole. And we also don't need the clips. So if you are purchasing the setup with the lights, you do get a mounting bracket for the lights. Okay, so now we're going to install the bracket that holds the lights. Notice that the tab is on top of the bolt hole and not like this. So we're going to align it properly, and we're going to use the factory tabs to secure this plate. And this hardware is going to be provided with the M&R bracket. I'm going to use this Allen tool to make the bracket nice and tight. And the welded nuts in the back allow us to tighten it just from the front because the nut's already in place. So after tightening these Allen bolts, the bracket is very sturdy, and we can now install some lights. So with the M&R kit, you're going to get two lights, two U-cradles, and all the mounting hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of the U-cradles. Notice the orientation of the bracket. There's a tab. It's supposed to be facing forward. We're going to slide it under and align it with the opening of the lights. So now I'm going to use the supplied hardware in order to assemble the U-cradle onto the light. So same thing with the second light. Notice that the tab of the U-cradle is facing forward. We're going to align it and use the supplied hardware. So now I'm going to install the light onto the M&R bracket using supplied hardware. I'm going to slide a bolt. I'm going to install them on the bracket. Now I'm using a 13mm wrench. I'm going to go ahead and do the second one, and then we're going to align it with the faceplate. Once again, use the supplied hardware, thread it through the cradle, and we're going to install it onto the bracket. So these are still loose. I want to go ahead and reinstall this faceplate, and I want to see what's the spacing in between them before we make final adjustment. So I'm going to go ahead and install this plate. I'm not going to clip anything back in place. Okay, so the whole point is to get these lights spaced out in the middle of this pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and shift it before I make final adjustment. That's one. So now that we like the placement of the lights, I'm going to go ahead and remove the faceplate guard, and then we're going to tighten the final bolts of the lights. One. Alright, so now it's time for wiring. We're going to connect both these pods together, and let's go over what these wires are. Each light has 3 wires. There is a red, white, and black. The red wire, that's the power to the main function of the light, which is white. Then there is a white wire, which is the DRL function. That's the backglow feature. And then there's a black wire, which is the ground. So I'm going to just group them together, and I'm going to throw a crimp connector on there and crimp it. Same thing on the black wire. And then the white wire. Awesome. So now that these pods are fused, now we have to connect them to auxiliary switches. This is the two power wires, which will be the red and the white, and then the black is going to be the ground. So let me show you how I route the wiring. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and route my wiring towards the auxiliary switches. So it's going to have to go towards the passenger side. I'm going to use a couple of zip ties just to make sure that the wiring is not loose and it doesn't impact the active shutter system that's located behind the lights. So I'm going to go ahead and carry my wiring inside. So there's a place here to hide the wiring. So there's space here for the wiring, and I actually want to get it behind the skid plate. So now we're right behind the skid plate. All we have to do is get an extension to get these pods towards the auxiliary switches, which is right above us. So I'm going to go ahead and get an extension wire. There's 3 strands, red and black and blue. Blue's going to be the DRL, black's going to be the ground, red's going to be the powerful white light. So as we extended that wire, now we know that we can cut it here because it's plenty of wire to connect to auxiliaries. Let's go ahead and take all this access wire out of the way and connect these 2 power sources to our auxiliary wire. Your Raptor has a total of 6 auxiliary switches, but switch number 1 is used to turn on the factory off-road fog light kits. So we only have switch number 2 to 6 to work with. There is 2 bundles of wires here on the side, and they're all color coded. One bundle is wrapped in white tape and one bundle is wrapped with red. The one we're going to want to use are the ones with a red tape on them. So those are going to be the live, connected, controlled by the switches. So let me go over the color code. So aux 1, that's going to be taken by the factory fog light kit, so you're not going to be able to connect to aux 1. Auxiliary 2, that's going to be the green wire with the brown stripe. Auxiliary 3, that's going to be the yellow wire. Auxiliary 4 is the brown wire. Auxiliary 5 is blue with orange stripe. And auxiliary 6 is going to be yellow with orange stripe. And also what you want to note is that every wire has a different amp rating. So you want to make sure to put the accessories that take up more amps, probably on 2 and 3, maybe 4. And the weaker ones, like the DRL function, you want to put them on a 5 amp fuse. So that's going to be 5 and 6. So after looking at the auxiliary switch wiring, we're going to connect our lighting to switch 5 and 6. The white light with the blue and orange wire, and the black wire, which is now our white wire from the lights, which is the DRL function, we're going to put that on the yellow and orange. So let me go ahead and find the blue wire with the orange, and we're going to crimp the red wire to it. Okay. And the black wire, we're going to connect that to the yellow and orange. Alright, so on the black wire, I'm going to put an eyelid. I'm going to crimp it. Come here. And I'm going to actually use this factory grounding spot. Oh, it's really nice. Let's go ahead and test it. So this is the amber DRL. And let's do the powerful white light. Whoa, this is bright. The vehicle looks a lot better, a lot brighter, and a lot more refined. It's actually protected by any debris or anything that could potentially injure the intercooler. So I think this is an awesome product, and it's a must-have in the 24 Raptor community. You guys are going to absolutely love this product.